Yes, friends. Today I am taking very important lesson to my students who are very hopeless, very not preparing for the competitive examinations or for their regular courses. Right? I have found that number of students sometimes they suicide this and that. Okay, because of sufferings from their family side, from their own side. I have seen number of students in regular courses as well as in competitive examinations courses, and daily you can find news in the newspapers that some students at Kota somewhere they suicided themselves, and a number of students have suicided. But they can take lesson from this very important verse which is given by one of the important poets in the Sanskrit scripture, right? Sanskrit language, right? Sanskrit language, which is very ancient language in India, or ancient language in India. Initially it was mother tongue, spoken almost all over the country, right? And in those days, this is the incidence of 6th century AD, about 6th century AD. Why? Because this poet, this verse number, I'll just talk about who is this poet. Bharvi poet, Mahakavi Bharvi, or the great poet Bharvi. Bharvi Kavi is, or poet is just equivalent to near about Mahakavi Kalidas, right? Or the great poet Kalidas. And other, there is a number of other Dandin Kavi and others. Okay, number of other poets are there which are considered as the topmost poets among the Sanskrit scriptures, right? Of Sanskrit language, or in the propagation of, or in the initiators of, or in the writing of. Okay, they wrote number of poems, number of shloks, number of verses. I think this is their verses. He has written one great epic. You may say the great book. You may say that is known as Kiratarjuniam. And this shlok, this verse is taken from Kiratarjuniam. What is Kiratarjuniam? Kiratarjuniam. What is Kiratarjuniam? Kiratarjuniam is a story told by the poet this Bharvi, right? In Sanskrit shloks or Sanskrit verses, or in Sanskrit language. He has used a lot of things. I mean, he is a very good master of Panini's grammar, right? He has followed Panini's grammar very soundly, you may say, very sound knowledge he is having, or as it appears, most of the Sanskrit scholars say that he was very good at Panini's grammar, because he has used every word of Panini's grammar, right? He was very good. His meaning are very great. I mean, meaningful verses he has written. He was writing verses even on a single letter, like na, upon na or n. He has written a great shlok or great verse, right? Single verse, or on a single letter. He has written a verse upon number of letters, number of single letters. So he is known for his sound knowledge, or in the grammar as well as of Sanskrit, deep knowledge of Sanskrit, right? He was having the basics of Sanskrit grammar from Panini's side, right? So this is how he is known for his poems. He was a great poet of his time. As even some people consider him just equivalent to Kalidas. Okay, and Kalidas and his timings, most of the poets which have come in the Sanskrit language, their date of birth or time of birth is mostly very much not so much clear, or very much fighting. Some people think that he was of this period, that period. The reason is that Sanskrit scholars of those days, even today, number of scholars, they never think that they have to appreciate themselves. They have to write anything about themselves. They always do the work. Okay, the work is worship, they consider always. Karma is the most important thing for these type of scholars. They never appreciate themselves. They never write about themselves. They never write their date of birth, time of birth, and this father and this and that, nothing. They always talk about their work. The work, appreciate them. The work is just, recognize them or their greatness. Similarly, this work of his, Kiratarjuniam, has recognized his name, okay? And then some people now, think about that he was near about the Ganga dynasty or Pallava dynasty in South India. near about that period, 530, some say 532, or some say 550. Okay, so in the 6th century AD, some people say that 6th century AD he is considered because of his timings of his writings of this and that. From that, people just recognize him, just think about that. Yes, he was of this period, that, but nothing is given about his time of birth, date of birth. The reason is because those scholars, they were not appreciating themselves. They were just writing, doing work only. Work is worship. This is considered in India by the scholars only. On these kind of writing about themselves, or about himself or herself, has been come from other countries, right? From Western culture, because they appreciate themselves. Even if they do single work, they appreciate themselves. But in India, people are now they have come to write about themselves. A lot of things are written. But in the ancient time, even Kalidas' time of birth is not known. Some people say that he was born. He was the court poet of Mercy, Chandragupta Vikramaditya. Chandragupta Vikramaditya was of 320 BC or after 320 BC, 350 AD. And one Chandragupta Vikramaditya just became before Christ, before Christian era, because 57 years before Christian era, the Gupta period starts, Vikram Samvat starts. Maharaja Vikramaditya or King Vikramaditya, his date of birth is also, time of birth is also very much intriguing, very much fighting, or not proper one. Some people say this and this. So all the history writers of this time, this period, as I always say, that left history writers or left ideology history writers, they are just writing very false things. Most of them have written very false things. They are not found the sound knowledge of this and that. Okay, Aryan theory and this, all they are just manufactured by them, by the British people. And they say that Aryans came here in India, they attacked India, they were invaders. So Indians are staying here, they are invaders. What does it mean? Nobody has found up to now that Aryans came here in India. Aryan word is just used for the very intelligent person. The scholarly person is known as Aryan. So Arya word is used in Sanskrit language just only for the people who are very much scholarly, okay, or scholarly person, very learned person. That person is known as Arya person. Okay, so Arya is used just for that person, not for those Aryans came here in India, this and that. So all these theories are just made up. Okay, now come to the point. So this verse is very important. Why this important verse is here? I have taken this verse just to tell the students who are hopeless, right? And this verse is of 1,05,000 golden coins. The birth of this verse or this shlok is of which verse of the poet Bharvi poet is of 1,05,000 golden coins. 1,05,000 golden coins. 1,05,000 golden coins. The value of this verse is, mostly people take different values, that this value was considered by, in those days golden coins were used, golden coins 1,05,000, so much, very greater value, this and that, okay, or great value. But this value was there in those days. The reason is, why this was given to this verse for him. This verse was written by him initially in his childhood period, not childhood period, but when he was adult, when he was married, right? When he was married, he wrote this verse. Why he wrote this verse? The reason was that in his period, when he started writing poems, writing this verses, okay, Sanskrit scholars he was considered. So he was famous among the people near around, or whenever he went away from his village where he was born. Okay, from his village he was going outside to the city, this here and there, in different other villages, and there people were recognizing his poems, his verses. His verses were so much, good of knowledge, good of what you call intellect and this and that. So people were recognizing him, appreciating him, garlanding him with lot of flowers and this and that. So he was appreciated here and there. Lot of, he was famous in his childhood period, and after that he was married, and after even marriage he was so much famous. The reason was he was very great poet. His poems were considered by the people, scholarly people, mostly scholarly people, so much very good of sound in knowledge. So he was very famous near around his village or in the nearby cities, right? So, but his father was not so much happy with his writings, this and that. He was always, finding mistakes in his writings. He was not appreciating him. So son was very much hot tempered. Hot-tempered person are so much, angry people. They cannot bear their, wrong things. They cannot bear their, they cannot find any mistakes. If somebody finds mistakes in them, then they cannot bear this kind of problems, right? These kind of things or these kind of mistakes, anybody who is finding cannot bear that person, right? This person was also very hot temperament person, right? His temperament was very hot. He was hot temperament person, right? So his temperament was very hot, was very high temperament person. So he was thinking that how I can take revenge from my father. Okay, so in that way, whenever he was coming from outside, taking garlands in his neck, he was wearing a lot of garlands. People were appreciating him here and there, and he was coming back to his house on a horse and this and that. Okay, people were coming behind him or appreciating him, but his father was not appreciating. Father was a teacher or in the ashram teaching because in those days ashramas were there. People were studying in the ashramas only, right? So ashramas were there. He was a teacher. His father was teacher. So, and knowing everything, because he was also a scholarly person. He was knowing Sanskrit. Because Sanskrit was the mother tongue in those days. In South India, in North India, everywhere. In India, Sanskrit was the mother tongue in those days. Now, come to this point that this verse was given by him. Why he wrote this verse, that is the point I am going to talk about, and why this is of 1,05,5 golden coins. The reason is what? That when he was going to kill his father, he was thinking always, his mind was full of anger. He was always thinking that how should I take revenge from my father? How should I kill him? How should I? The killing point came later, but initially he was taking advice from his mother, and this he also talked to his mother that why my father doesn't appreciate me. All people are appreciating me, but my father doesn't appreciate me. And when a father appreciates his son, then son is so much proud, so much a lucky person. As some writers have written, that the son is lucky when his father appreciates him. When father appreciates his works, then that son is so much luckiest person in the world. Okay, so when his father appreciates him, but this appreciation he was not getting from his father. So this was in his mind that if my father appreciates him, then I will consider that I am doing something. But my father is not appreciating. All people are appreciating, even more scholarly person than that of my father. People who are more scholar than my father, they are appreciating me, but why my father is not appreciating? Right? So this appreciation he was finding from his father, but the father was not appreciating. So he was very angry. And sometimes, and one day he was so much angry that he just, talked to his mother that I am not so much, happy with my father. He always, depreciate me, or he find mistakes in my writings, this and that. He is not appreciating me, but all people are appreciating. Why he doesn't appreciate me? Why he is not appreciating me? I'll just, take revenge from him. I will kill him. Okay, in angry mood, in great anger, he was saying this thing. So mother was also just, recognized him or took some notice from his side that yes, he is very angry today. Okay, so at night when he was returning from outside the world, outside the place, or when he was returning, okay, then he was bringing a stone, very very big stone in his hand, and he just bent up to the roof, okay, or top of the house, right, or roof of the house. So he just was sitting, waiting that my mother, who was at that moment, father had returned from ashram because he was tired. So mother was, pressing his feet, his father's feet, and sitting on the ground, right, by, on a cloth, okay, so covering the ground with the help of cloth, and on that father was sleeping. So father was sleeping and mother was pressing his feet, right, his father's feet. And he was just watching every moment that when mother will go away from here, I will throw this stone to my father's head or wherever on the body, and he will be killed. Today I have to take revenge. So he was so much angry, so much temperament high of person. He was so much of high temperament that he was just thinking that I have to kill my father today. And this he noticed something. I mean, gave notice to his mother also in the morning when he went away from his house to nearby places. Okay, just to say his poems and this and that. Okay, to cite his poems nearby people or nearby crowds. Okay, so after returning from his from that place or from his that poem telling. Okay, so when he returned at night and he was coming with a stone in his hand and was sitting on the roof of the house or top of the house, just waiting that mother will go away from here and I will just kill my father. I will throw the stone upon my father and he will be killed. So every day this finding mistakes and fault finding will end of it, right, or will be ended, right. This is how he thought about. So he was thinking that when mother will go away, I'll kill my father. But in between, mother was telling his father that why don't you appreciate your son? He is being appreciated by every person all around the place or nearby places or wherever he goes, into the cities also, where the king, he has went to the king also. King has appreciated him, number of kings have appreciated him, all people are appreciating him because of his verse writing. He is writing verse upon a single letter. He is very great scholar, but you are not appreciating. Why you don't appreciate your son? He is the only son of yours. He is now married. The married son has to be appreciated. Otherwise, he will feel insulted. So that is what mother asked his father. Then father told her that, poor lady, let me tell you one thing. If I start appreciating my son, he will be just come down. He will come down. He will not then write the poems in this way, because I have to find mistakes so that he can be excited, he can be get energy of this kind, he can be angry, and after in anger the people become more excited. They try fast, they try more to write more poems. In this way, I am not appreciating my son. My son will be great person, and which father will not require that his son has not to be a great man. So I also require that my son has to go away. I mean, go high and high, higher and high. So this is how I am thinking about. So don't say that I have to appreciate my son. I am not appreciating him because I just want that he has to just go higher, higher and higher, right? Or go from this stage to upper stage, and this and that. So he has to go higher and higher. So this is why I do not appreciate him. So when this sentence of his father was heard by him, and the night, it was a dark night, and he was hearing every word of his mother and father. When he heard this word, he was very much hopeless then. He, after throwing that stone away, when mother went away, he came down silently and sat down with his father's or near his father, and he asked his father, "Dear father, there was a boy who wanted to kill his father, but now he wants to take do remorse. Remorse means paschatap. He wants to do remorse. R-E-M-O-R-S-E, remorse. Remorse means paschatap in Hindi, Sanskrit. Paschatap means he wants to do some, some worship or something. He has to punish himself. How he has to punish himself or take remorse? He has to go for remorse. How he has to do the paschatap or remorse? How he has to take the remorse? That remorse tell me about. Because that person has asked me, he is just citing third person, not talking about himself. Because every person asks about anything from a learned person, because his father was a learned person, he was a teacher in the ashram, okay, a great teacher. So he asked him that there was a son, or there is a son, he was going to kill his father, but now he want to take the remorse, he want to do the remorse, and in this remorse what he has to do? right? Now father told him that if that person was going to kill his father, it is very great sin he was going to do. But now if he wants to do the remorse, then in the remorse, the father told him, his father told him that that person has to go to his in-laws house. In in-laws house, after going to in-laws house, there he has to feed the cows. Cow feeding in the ground or in the garden, or taking cows to the field in the in-laws house, was considered not a good thing in those days, was considered as a remorse in those days, right? Now, taking cows in your own house to the field is considered very pious work, very pious thing. But in the house of the in-laws house, he was married also. In the in-laws house, if a person is going to take the cows of that house or of that place to the field, okay, to chew the grass, etc., to feed them, okay, or feeding the cows in the in-laws house was considered a great sin in those days, was considered as a remorse, right? So father told him that that boy has to, if he was going to kill his father, now he want to do the remorse, then in remorse he has to go to the in-laws house, and after going to in-laws house, he has to take the cows to the field and feed them with the grass and for 1 month or 2 months or 3 months whatsoever. Okay, time limit is for 1 year or 2 years, I think. He told him that for 1 year or 2 years he has to do this remorse, that they feed the cows with the green grass and this, to take the cows to the field to chew the grasses, and they have to feed by him in his in-laws house, right? Now that boy, Bharvi, went down to touch the feet of his father and told him that, father, I am the person, I am that boy who was going to kill you, but now I want to do the remorse. I have to go to my in-laws house. Okay? So in the in-laws house, now father was also weeping. He asked him, because he was the only son. No son, that was just, I was just telling a lie. You are not to go to your in-laws house. No, you cannot do this and that. But even then, he went away to his in-laws house just to do the remorse. And in remorse, he was feeding the cows in his in-laws house. When he was feeding the cows in in-laws house, taking the cows to the ground, to the fields, and cows were, what we call feeding themselves, or they were chewing the grasses and this and that, here and there. And he was sitting on the end of the field in the shade of the tree and writing these sloks. And this verse he wrote there. This verse is Shesha Vidati Kriyam Avivekah Param Apadam Padam Brandate hi Vimarskaram Gunalubda Smev Sampada Shesha Vidatim Kriyam Avivekah Param Apadam Padam Brandate hi Vimarskaram Gunalubda Smev Sampada. What does it mean? He wrote this slok there, this verse there in the field in his in-laws house, or in-laws, place where they were staying, because in those days he was 25 plus. Because in those days marriage was done when the people were of 25 plus, mostly of higher status people or the Brahman people. He was a Brahman by caste or by Varna. He was a Brahman. So as a Brahman, he married after 25 years as a brahmacharya. After passing the brahmacharya ashram, he just went to the grihastha ashram. In the grihastha ashram, he was doing this, right? The second stage, after 25 years, he was doing this. The reason is, in those days there were no child marriages. Child marriage has come when these invaders from Western countries came to India, and they were trying to kidnap the children, or mostly girls, from remote areas, from Rajasthan mostly, as one of the history scholar was telling me, history professor was telling me, he was taking classes with us. In a college, in IS college, where I was also taking classes of mathematics and this and that for competitive examinations. Now, that person was telling me that this child marriage in India have started when the invaders came to India, and they started kidnapping the children, mostly girls, wherever they were even not at the poverty level, they were 10 plus and this and that. So after 10 years or 12 years or 15 years, and so children were, girls were kidnapped by these invaders with the help of their policemen, their their soldiers and this and that. So soldiers were going in the shape of common men, and they were just kidnapping those children from Rajasthan mostly, from other states also. So all over India, then child marriage started. This is how one history professor was telling. And history professor was a very scholarly person. But telling that all these kind of bad activities have started in India. Otherwise, in those days there was Brahmacharya ashram, Virashita ashram, Vanaprastha ashram, then Sannyas ashram. These 4 ashramas were followed by all the people. So this person was also married after 25 years, and his wife was also of maturity, maybe of 20 or 25 or this and this. Okay, so he was staying in his in-laws' house. There he wrote this shlok. Now, why this shlok? This verse is of golden coins, 1 lakh 5 golden coins. That story, let me tell you about. After writing this verse, he wrote this verse in his in-laws' house, in the field where he was sitting, in the end of the field, okay, and near or under the shade of a tree, and cows were just feeding themselves. They were just moving here and there, okay, in the field. And after that he was taking the cows to the house, and in the morning he was going there with the cows. This was his profession in those days. Just for 1 year or 2 years, I think 1 year, the father told him that, no, son, if you are just taking my advice, taking my words as it is, then you have to go not for 3 years, not for 6 years or 2 years, but only for 1 year. Only then you can go. So then he took, okay, I have to go for 1 year, but I have to do the remorse. So for doing the remorse, पश्चाताप के लिए he went to his in-laws house, अपनी ससुराल में गया. ससुराल में जाके उसने गायें चराना शुरू किया. गायों को खेत पर ले जाता था, और खेत पर एंड जो खेत की मैट होती है उस पर बैठ करके, ट्री के नीचे बैठ करके, पेड़ की छाया में बैठ करके उसने ये श्लोक लिखा. Now this verse was written by him in the shade of the tree, and this verse was Shesha Vidatim Kriyam. What is the meaning of this? Let me tell you this. And after that, this verse was purchased from him, not purchased, but it was given to a innovator, to a trader's family. The trader was a very good businessman. That businessman went away after leaving his wife in his house to foreign country, because in their foreign traveling was more famous for travelers, for mostly for the traders, right? Okay, so trading family, the business family, or Vaishya family. That Vaishya family, the wife of that, the Vaishya of that trader or trading family or trader's family, the trader's wife not purchased, but just took this shlok, this verse. So this verse was very famous among the village people, among that in-laws village, okay, among the people of that in-laws village. So those people were so much appreciating this shlok that very good. This verse is very, very much informative. Why? Shesha Vidatim Kriyam. Vidati means don't do anything suddenly. Shesha, अचानक से कोई कार्य मत करिए अविवेक में. Now, Shesha Vidatim Kriyam Aviveka. Without taking proper decisions, don't do anything suddenly. Okay, don't do a work suddenly without thinking properly. Shesha Vidatim Kriyam Aviveka. Vidatim Kriyam, Vidatim Kriyam Aviveka. Shesha Vidatim Kriyam Aviveka. Avivek, this word is Kriyam Avivek. Kriyam Aviveka. Avivek means without thinking, without proper thinking. Don't do anything suddenly. Don't do a work suddenly. Because param apadam padam. This type of step, if you are doing, will be full of problems. Param apadam padam. Number of sufferings will come if you take this kind of step.